Oh no! I mean, if it's
All
if
right.
it's if this is the first time we're going to be here, I mean,
Boom.
see, there you go. The first time the intro has been played.
I got to get it recorded so that I can, be a little more professional, I think. But I was working on that last week. Figured it'd be a
I
cool
like
intro.
that. I dig that. Now that I know that you can kind of lay down that kind of stuff, you're going to be my new. You're going to be my new music for my videos.
Sweet. That could be good. You just pay me for it, and
I'm
then we
going
can
to
talk.
employ you in beer.
What'd you say?
I'm going to employ you in beer.
Yeah. Hey, like I said, you just have to pay me. That's fine. That's fine.
That's right.
So, you tell us. You bring us there, man. It's your show.
Man, guys, it is Monday. It is not 5 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock because Steve's got some daddy duties tonight with baseball season starting up.
It's awesome, actually. But yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like hauling butt trying to get home. I got people and everything else. But anyway, it is after hours real estate. And I am Chris Beshek, Dripping Springs Home Team Realtor, Broker Associate Extraordinaire. And I'm here with Steve Babcock, who is, I always want to say owner of, but you're not owner. You're just a badass mortgage lender with Benchmark Mortgage.
Yep. I'll go with that.
We get together every Monday and talk real estate and talk mortgage. And I'm running late, so I'm hauling butt in the house. So one of the first things we always do is we talk about what kind of beer we're drinking. Are you drinking today before the game?
I'll go first. I do have to take my kid to baseball practice, so I'm having a beer, like one. I only have one, which worked out really well. But can't let the show down, right? So Stella
Artois. Nice.
I'm walking down the aisle. I saw it, and I'm like, you know what? That's coming home with me. I haven't had you in a while. So, yeah, try one of those. How about you? What are you drinking?
Well, unfortunately, today I'm not drinking Jack.
You're very much unprepared for this today.
Well, it's not that, and I just got home, and I'm not necessarily against it. Oh, never mind. I am drinking. Everybody, this is my wife, and this is how she comes in. She's bringing me beer.
Clutch.
It's a hang on. I'm going to try to do something real quick.
You are a lucky man. I hope you know that.
Oh, I'm very lucky. Okay.
Man.
Let's see if this works. What in the world? Okay. Yeah, guys, this is very unprepared.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll just do a little preview. We don't have a ton of time for the show today. It should be a somewhat short one, like 15 to 25 minutes. But I would love to point out how inaccurate news articles are. And I have one right now. I was listening to rates this morning. Actually, this afternoon, I was asking Google to tell me the news, and they were talking about how rates ticked up in the month of February. And I'm sitting here thinking, ticked up, yeah, sure, okay, you could say ticked up. 300 basis points, that's ticking up. And then she says, they raised a total of 26 basis points. And I'm thinking, no, that's wrong. So I went online to this news site that I go to for mortgage news. And I never pay attention to their interest rates that they have. It's on the corner of their page. And I looked at it, and it said 0.26 basis points. And I thought, wow, I'm looking at 300 basis points on what I'm seeing, and they're 26. And then I realized what it says over here. Oh, you can't see. Oh, yeah, I guess you can't see. Hold on. What it says is daily mortgage rate survey, right?
Okay.
So it's not an actual rate. It's a survey of rates, and that comes out every Thursday. Okay, and some of them come out every other Thursday. So you can be 2 weeks old on mortgage news. And in the month of February, we barely recovered, but we lost in the hundreds of basis points, not 26. And so here I am on a mortgage website where I go for news and they have something that's up that's just not accurate. And it's just so funny to me, and awful, nerve-wracking, and just terrifying. How inaccurate the news is on mortgage info out there. It just drives me nuts. In fact, every one of our shows is outdated. The next day, basically.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Hey man, cheers.
Cheers. So I am drinking a Convict Hill Oatmeal Stout by Independence Brewing right here in Austin, Texas, and it's black as my soul. It's beautiful. Oh my God, it's beautiful, and it's so good.
That's
and
black.
I really, yeah. Thanks, buddy.
I'm a good friend.
I really was not going to drink today because I've not felt well since last Friday. I don't have the Rona, but it started with a couple of beers and then some gumbo and some sparkling water, and I just haven't felt right since. So I was going to give it a little rest, but my wife being the pusher she is, I guess I'm drinking. So that's what today is.
Just have one and stop. You'll be fine.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially this because it's oatmeal. It's good for you.
Yeah, you'll just take a nap.
That's right.
Even better.
All right, man.
Whoa. Tell me what are your clients asking? What are people watching want to know about mortgages and financing? And are you seeing any light at the end of this crazy tunnel we're in right now with people actually affording homes? We were talking about how long can this last in January?
Yeah. There's not a lot of questions about mortgages right now because if people can find a house to buy, they don't care. So the fact that it's gone up 300 basis points, people are like, oh, that sucks, but I've got a house to buy, so I'm going to go ahead and buy it.
Right.
And we were talking a little bit last time about some Robert Kiyosaki stuff, and I listened to his podcast, and he's just going, why are you buying anything right now other than gold, silver? And he's like, and Bitcoin, but Bitcoin's overpriced too. Don't buy that right now either. He's like, buy stuff that's not overpriced. And I'm going, yeah, good point. But unfortunately, that's not an option for a lot of people. A lot of people are wanting to buy houses right now.
Tell you, if you ever wanted to buy an RV or a boat, I think there's going to be a flood of them here coming in basically the next year, right? You've got everything all right?
I don't know. Keep talking. You're good.
I was going to say, you're going to take that call during this? Is that like an emergency call?
Hey.
He's going to take the call. He's taking it. That's all right. Well, look, the vaccine, we've been talking about how we've been hearing how the vaccine is supposed to be out here in the next matter of months, right? That we can pretty much vaccinate everybody by the middle of the year. So, I'm thinking that the people that bought an RV that felt like they had no choice to go, vacationing, that because RVs are flying off the shelf during COVID, right? Well, if COVID's not a thing and you didn't like RVing the first couple times, I've been reading a lot of articles from amateurs that are like, man, this is not what I thought it was going to be.
Right.
Imagine there's going to be a huge flood of RVs, and same story for boats, used boats and used RVs. So that would be not exactly an asset, but if you were going to pay for them, that's when to pay for them,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And that makes sense. Well, you were just talking about buying an RV.
Yeah, of course I'm paying full price for mine, but it's only because it's this. I tried to find a used one, but it's because it's a specialty RV. Did I show it last time?
You showed it to me. You sent it to me.
Oh my God! Let me share my screen. I got to show this to everybody. This is the coolest RV.
Steven's fired up about this thing, and it's really nice. Let me rephrase that. It's not really nice. It's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And whenever anything is really cool or really nice, it's also really expensive.
Yeah. So here in Texas, if you're going to go camping, especially with a 3 and a 4-year-old, you pretty much have to have air conditioning. And if you don't, that's fine. It's cool. Some people can make it work, but you then can't go during certain months of the year where it's 105 degrees until 8 o'clock at night. Which I'm not kidding, by the way. So this thing has air conditioning and it's got heating, which I'll probably never use. It's got pretty much everything I need. I can use the facilities and and it's got a sink and everything else. So we're really excited for it.
It is really cool. I dig that thing.
It's 4 feet long too, wide, so I can fit it in the garage.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not very long. I think it's like 11 feet long or something.
15 with the towing. 15. Yeah, but no, that's how wide it is, like itself, but with the rig and everything else.
Gotcha. But,
I mean, standard garage is 19 feet, so should be fun. Should be good.
Yeah, you'd be good. Yeah. So that's. I guess that maybe that should be the theme of today. What are we going to see as a result of all of this Corona madness? And one of the questions that I get a lot is, hey, when are all the foreclosures going to hit the market? When am I going to be able to get a great deal on a house because people lose their houses because of forbearance and they lost their jobs and all this other stuff? What are your thoughts on that, Steve?
It's hysterical. I was actually just reading up on that, and it was so depressing reading about forbearances. The last time I brought it up, you were like, why are you doing this? Stop, right? So I remembered that voice, and I'm like, let's just find another article to research, right? But what was funny is that most, if not almost all, like we're talking like most, 90-something% of people that entered the forbearance have not completely defaulted.
Nope. Not even close.
Right. In fact, there's so small of an increase that you could say in general, nobody's really losing their house over this yet. There have been a lot of people that have dropped the forbearance. They may not have caught up what they owed, but like 42% or something like that of the people that some 40-something% of the people that entered into a forbearance have now dropped out of it. So they're fine. They haven't lost their house. They're making payments again.
Yep.
Of the people who are delinquent, it's actually not much more than last year, if not less. I think it's probably from the stimulus checks. I don't know. I mean, the bottom line is that there's no doom and gloom there.
Right. Well, and of the ones that are delinquent, I remember that article, and it's something I want to say it's like 60 or 70% have already spoken with their banks and they're making catch-up payments.
12% of them have caught up already.
12 have caught up, and a bunch of them already have agreements on catching up. Yeah. So there's even just a very few number of those that are even in trouble.
Yeah, but by the way, you can't do a refinance unless you catch up. And I wonder how many of those 12% did a refinance. I would guess the majority of them didn't just say, oh yeah, here you go, here's $19,000 to catch me up.
That's right. Because I forget exactly what the number is right now, but it's something like 80. It's over 80% of mortgages right now have equity, and a significant amount of equity, like over 15% in their home. And so I'm sure a lot of people are just going, I'll catch up. Let me pull the money that I have in my home out, even though in Texas, not everybody can do that. And I'm sure Stephen will talk about that here in a second. But that's a lot of people. Which is not, and it's one of my selling points when I talk to people. Like, look, this is not 2007, 2008. Back then, people were so underwater on their houses, they couldn't even dream of pulling a cash out refi. But now the majority of Americans have the ability to pull a cash out refi.
But also keep in mind that the thing that my clients hate the most was also the thing that helped Texas stay strong, which was that you cannot do a cash out refinance that exceeds 80% loan to value, meaning.
And like I said, Stephen was going to tell you about it.
Yeah, you got to leave 20% in your house. I mean, what am I here for, right? But yeah, you've got to leave at least 20% of the value in your home. Otherwise, you can't do the cash out. Sorry.
That's right. But now let's talk about why Texas was not so hard hit in 2007, 2008, because your politicians actually had your best interest in mind and didn't sell you out to special interests.
Can I? Let's listen to this. In California, at the height of the crash, like right before it was officially called the crash, right when they stopped doing it, okay, you could buy a home in California with zero down, and then immediately the very next day do a refinance for 105% of the value of the house.
No, wait. We're going to add one layer to the dumbassery on that. Okay. Add one layer.
I can't remember. Were they in trouble? Sorry for everyone that moved here from there. Go ahead.
One extra layer to the dumbassery on that is you could buy that house with a stated income loan. Right. You didn't even have to prove your income, and you could buy the house and then get 105%. Gee, I wonder why it crashed. Do you think it was totally all of those? What are the mortgage-backed securities that were being sold? No, the mortgage-backed securities were bad because
That's
we were
pretty
giving
scary.
loans. Yeah, they were bad because we were giving loans to people who did not need those houses.
Well, to be clear, I was not doing loans back then.
Fair. Good point.
Right.
Good job.
I was not even licensed back then, but the stories, oh my goodness, the horror stories I've heard from other lenders.
Watch the movie. Lenders that were doing it at the time told me the movie is accurate.
Oh yeah, I've heard the same stuff. What they didn't mention was that the law told you who did and did not apply, and
Right.
if someone came to you and qualified based on what the law tells you those qualifications are, and you denied them, you could go to jail for denying them.
Yep.
So, in fact, you had to offer them the loan. So that was just the one bit of information that all those movies and everything in the news all kept out of the news. It wasn't so much that the lenders were in the streets begging people to get loans.
Right.
It was that the lenders were told, if they qualify, you're going to jail, son, if you don't give them that loan. Right. So it was a system that was set up to fail on multiple sides.
And look,
especially if you're a greedy person, right? As a lender.
Well, right. But
really quick.
Oh, good.
I talked to one lender who tells me, he was like, yeah, man, at the height of that thing, we were getting 6% if we got people into ARM loans, and we would only get 1% if we did conventional loans.
Yep.
Okay. What? What if it's not in the best interest of the client? Dude, I didn't care. I was getting 6 times my income, bro. Right? And they're all proud of it. I'm telling you, at least the ones I talked to, it was like, you have no idea how much money I made, man. It was just, oh God, it was awful. And gosh, and there was one more person. The other thing. This was a great change, this part of it. Today, you get your rates, right? And then for each rate, you have a price for the rate, right? So you can pay a lot of money in points is what they call it, right? But in layman's terms, you spend a lot of money, you get a better rate. You don't spend a lot of money, you don't get as good of a rate, right? What are you doing over there? There we are. Okay. Bottom line is, back in the day,
still doing it.
Back in the day, if I gave you the higher rate, that just got tacked onto my commission check. The extra money that you would have been given in return. So like today, you can spend money to get a better rate, or you could take a worse rate and we'll pay you money. Back in the day, the lender could take that money and use it as his income. And today, now we have to give it back to the client. Again, I wasn't working back then, so I'm hearing this through the grapevine. But today we have to give it back to the client. So it's in every lender's best interest to give you the best interest rate they have. So I do like that change. That change is good.
Right. What I was going to say is it's not okay. The idea behind what caused people to, what you were saying, where it was technically against the law if lenders did not offer them the loan. The idea wasn't bad, because if you go back to it, the idea was equal housing,
racism and stuff. Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Of course.
But like a lot of things that most politicians do, they jumped from one extreme to the complete opposite and didn't take the time to figure out what the result was going to be.
I don't know.
Because
in my opinion, you find someone who's got integrity or someone who doesn't, right? I think it really boils down to that. I just
right.
Even with the laws around, you still have to report somebody, you still have to get them into trouble, and it has to go through a system, and there's still jerks out there,
Oh, without a doubt. And there's people that are going to take advantage of the situation. But again, the government was well-meaning. It just wasn't well thought out.
No.
Because more than likely, like everything else, the government wasn't writing the laws. It was special interest groups that were writing the laws and giving them to the government to sign. It's just what happens. What happens.
Without getting political, I will say that the majority of the laws that have been passed in this industry since I got into it have negatively impacted the consumer. So I don't believe they were done with the right intentions. Like FHA loans, for instance, after 2008, if you don't put down more than 10% on FHA loan, you get stuck with mortgage insurance for the whole 30-year term of your mortgage.
Completely asinine. How does that help the consumer?
The FHA loan is meant for lower income individuals. And then the government got involved to fix the problems that were clearly there in 2008. And then the lobbyists got involved to screw up the problems. And all of a sudden what we had was an FHA loan that was more cruel, basically, to the consumer and much friendlier to the banks. How's that supposed to help? No, I don't like the government when they do stuff like that. Sorry. But I also try not to be political. But no, and stuff like that just drove me crazy. You're not helping the little guy. What are you there for?
No, and it's not being political when you're just saying that the politicians are idiots.
It makes me angry because the banks didn't need. I mean, you've seen The Big Short. They're part of the reason we got in the problem in the first place, right? Not just part. They didn't need to be coddled. It was the people that needed to be coddled. So I don't know. I that makes me so angry. I'm sorry. I have to stop talking now.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
I'll upset you more. I mean, go look at the Frank Dodd Act and actually look at what's in it. And again, to your point, it is not there to help the consumer. It's there to drive small mortgage bankers out of business. That's all it's for. Period. End of discussion.
But they don't know that when they're passing it, I feel like. So that's why.
Again, because they don't write it.
Yeah.
Because it's written by special interest groups like your giant mortgage corporations like
Rocket Mortgage. Now we're a political show.
I'm just saying.
Moving on.
Again, it's not political if it's true, and if you're not, and it's not political if it's true. Let's just.
You know what? I think my father-in-law said it best to me. I had a very similar comment to him, and he says, there's always three sides to the story, right? That guy's side, and then what really happened. And whether it's true or not, we're only fed so much, so we don't really know the middle story, the third one.
That's fair. That's fair.
So I try to be in between if I can.
Yeah, that's a good
anyways, so yeah, man, rates have recovered a little bit. Not a lot of it, but a little bit.
And by the way, if you're just tuning in new, rates recovering is good for the consumer. That doesn't mean they're getting higher. That means they're getting lower. Okay. Just wanted to point that out.
Well, I said rates. I didn't say bonds.
And it's still exactly.
Yeah. Let me share my screen here one last time. I do enjoy doing this every now and then with the.
Hey, Stephen, what's the rate?
You're gonna have to apply to find that out, sir. I've become accustomed to saying, in the high or in the low or in the mid, and then put in a number. Because that way I'm not locked in before I know what your numbers are to back up what rate you're asking me for, right?
Right.
But if you look at this chart here, this right here, let's see, this right here, this is the beginning of February. And we just dropped like a rock. Boom. The worst day to lock in would have been the 25th of February. And then we recovered on the 26th. And then now here is March. So the data here that people are reporting on could be as far back as, say, down here, right? Say the 19th or somewhere where they're at 102. And they have not yet reported that we dropped all the way down to 99.5, which is a huge, huge difference. And, you're watching the news. This, I don't know if you can see my mouse here, but I mean, this drop is just drastic. And then we come all the way back up here. On the 2nd, and it looked like things were probably going to keep slingshotting back up, and then they dropped again. And now today we're right around 100. So maybe 100.5. But the bottom line is that the rates are inverse of this. So when we were up here, rates were fantastic. As they go down here, rates go up, right? Anyways, so
no, that's that, and that's good. That's what we need to see that. And we thought for a second that we were going to see the flip that you've been talking about with inflation and rates.
Well, we did. There's no question. We did.
Well, but is inflation higher or lower than the rates right now? I didn't think we got all the way there.
We're not all the way there, but we're also really, really, really deeply tied in with the 10-year Treasury note. In fact, inflation. I was talking about inflation as being an issue on the economy and then trickling down to rates eventually, but there's never been a direct correlation with inflation and interest rates, believe it or not. In fact, there's never been a direct correlation with interest rates in anything except for the 10-year Treasury note. And the 10-year Treasury note has been spiking up basically dropping like a rock, like that chart was,
right,
for a lot longer, and it's the first time really in a long time that
it's separated.
Rates haven't followed it. Yeah, and then you couple that with the inflation that we were seeing, and it was just the only thing I could chalk it up to was the Fed's buying the bonds, and artificially I said I butchered that, didn't I? And keeping rates low, but and here we are. All of a sudden, it slingshots back. Like I said, we lost. Listen, think about this. Think about this. In the last 20 years, there have been 6 months where the market has lost more than 50 basis points in a month. Okay. Six
Wait,
times.
in how long? 6 times in how long?
In the last 2 decades, the last 20 years.
Wow.
There have been 6 times that the market has lost more than 50 basis points in a month, and we lost 300 in February.
Oh, shit.
Right. Did I say there was a slingshot coming? So, I mean, there was, right? I mean, not to be like tooting my horn, but there was no way there wasn't going to be one.
Right. Okay, I see what you're saying. So it didn't completely flip, but you saw that slingshot.
No, and I have to take my kid to practice. But what's weird is that the economists are talking about how things are going to get even better eventually, and they're going to keep the rates are going to get even better. I just don't understand. I don't see it. I don't see the 10-year note coming down. For right now, I think we're either where we are right now, or things will get worse in the short term. But in the long run, maybe they'll get better. But I mean, I would never wait to see what happens. If I really knew, I'd be a billionaire and be on E-Trade.
Exactly.
All right, I gotta go.
All right, brother. I appreciate it, guys. We're here every Monday. Steve, you can cut out if you want, man.
All right, thank you.
I'll take us out.
Bye.
Yeah, man. Guys, we're here every Monday, usually at 5:00. Steve's got a little league game that he is actually, I think it's T-ball. It's his kid's first T-ball game. It's pretty awesome. He is getting there early tonight or practice. Anyway, if you've got any questions on real estate market, the mortgage market, which is all over the place, as you can tell, let us know. Send comments, whatever. But at least we're going to be back here next Monday. I can tell you that. And I'll be drinking beer and Steve will be drinking beer. And, that part of life doesn't change. So we'll see you guys next week. Later.